breaking down the teams you're passionate about. This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, let's get it. It's another edition of the show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Boy, do we have a lot of friends for you today. Mike Folta is going to join us in just a moment right out of the gate as the playoff-bound Utah Mammoth. Let that just marinate for a little bit. The playoff-bound Utah Mammoth. They did exactly what they needed to do last night. They got the regulation victory over Nashville, and then Anaheim got a blowout victory as well. And boom, here we go, folks. On to the playoffs. Now, who, where, when, all that stuff yet to be determined. But ultimately, all that matters right now is that Utah, after a 4-1 victory over Nashville last night, ends up getting the victory and punching their ticket. And this was a really fun game. If you were there at the arena, I'm sure you loved every second of this one. By the way, we got to Lloyd sent me a little video of Stevenson Sylvester, who hosted the show with me yesterday. He made an appearance on the big screen last night. Let's just say that man, he can down a beverage. Let's just say that as he made it on the video board last night. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on in the program. But what a win last night. So much fun to watch. And the Mammoth end up punching their ticket. The thing that I really liked about this game is, like, this was a Mammoth team that came out and said, like, we're not messing around. First period, bam. Now, a little bit of a lull in the second period. But, wow, what a game last night. Let's get to it. Starting lineup right now.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Sergachev back skates on the blue line, hits a streaking Keller. Keller across. One-timer, they score! And it's Lawson Krause who makes it 3-0. And Utah's top line cashes in. Gunther gets to a puck in his own zone, around for Uyghur. He ramps it ahead to Clayton Keller. Keller squeezes down the wing, in with Gunther. Keller across, they score again! And this time it's Dylan Gunther, his 39th of the year. And it comes off the third assist of the night from the captain, Clayton Keller. And the Mammoth are feeling it here at home.
Mike Folta, you just heard him on the call as the Mammoth on their way to the playoffs. Mike, how are you, my friend?
Scotty, it's a great day to be a Mammoth. It's a great day to be a Utahn. We are dancing. Break out those dancing shoes. We are headed to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and Utah is back in the postseason where it belongs. It's been a few years. Last time the Jazz were in the playoffs, you had legends like Norvell Pell, Malik Fitz, Xavier Sneed leading the way. Well, now it's Keller, Gunther, Sergachev, and Vejmelka. So we're back, baby. And for the Utah Mammoth, we're there for the first time, and it's a thrilling time to be wearing Mountain Blue.
All right, so walk me through last night near the end of your broadcast. You guys are still doing post-game, and everybody obviously enjoying a heck of a victory, but then also keeping an eye on that Anaheim score. When that thing went final, what was that like for you guys? Were you on the air when it finally wrapped up?
Yeah, so Adrian was on the air doing the post game,
okay.
So he got to experience it live on the air. That was pretty cool. I had walked over to Flanker in the Gateway downtown and was watching it. So they have a bunch of screens there, so I was watching it with 30 or so other Mammoth fans, and the Ducks kept pouring them in, and it was 6-1 by the end. So we were loving life. And then after that, I had to go and record Mammoth Daily with Adrian.
Yeah.
So. It was a busy night. We were up late, but totally worth it. And when you clinch playoffs, you gotta stay up a little bit past your bedtime.
You know, watching the captain dishing out the assist last night, it just felt like everything was right in the world. The Mammoth had to have that game, and everybody just stepped up. But just the performance from the captain himself, I thought was really cool to watch.
Yeah, and that's his game, Scotty. Like, he's a playmaker. You know, some guys are known as goal scorers, like Dylan Gunther's a goal scorer, right? But Clayton Keller's a playmaker, and he had 3 assists last night, 3 primary assists as well. You know, sometimes you can get an assist where you pass it to one guy, then he passes it to another guy, then that guy scores, and you get an assist for that. No. Clayton Keller made 3 incredible plays, and Mammoth scored 4 goals last night against Nashville. I think it might have been the easiest 4 goals that Utah's ever scored because the passing was so special from Keller and company.
So for a guy that's called a lot of hockey games at different levels, to score, 4 goals in 6 consecutive games, just how impressive is that?
It's nuts. It's nuts, especially this time of year. Like, these are supposed to be playoff-style games. It's supposed to be harder. It's supposed to be grittier. It's supposed to, be tougher to score. And the Mammoths have been just lighting it up. And this team is playing with supreme confidence right now. And, they had played some more shootout-style games the last couple times out. But then last night they locked it down. And they played a really strong defensive game. You could tell that was a big focus last night. And then they got an outstanding performance from Karel Vejmelka, the goaltender, as well. So really good to see the Mammoth, score 4 goals again, but I was more excited to see them limit the opposition to just 1 goal, and it didn't come until the 3rd period. So Utah was dominant last night in one of the biggest games of the year, and the team's rolling right now. 5 in a row. They're pouring them in. And it's made the Delta Center a madhouse the last couple nights.
The thing that really stood out to me watching that game last night was obviously the Mammoth came out with their hair on fire and you could tell they were the more physical, more aggressive. The sense of urgency was there in the first period. And then there was a little bit of a lull in the second. And that's when Veggie really had to step up and make some big saves. And it seemed like when maybe the attack started to slow down and Nashville got some opportunities, that's when Veggie's like, no worries, I got this. And he shut down some really great scoring opportunities by Nashville, and then everybody picked up again and finished business there in the 3rd.
Veggie doesn't stay down for long. Like he's now won 5 in a row, but his last couple games before last night against Vancouver and against Edmonton, he had let in a bunch of goals, and I think he was objectively bad against the Edmonton Oilers. He let in 5. But the thing with him is you can't keep him down for long. He got pulled against Edmonton earlier in March in a different matchup, and after he got pulled, he's won the last 5 games since. He's turned in some really good performances, including last night. But maybe there's a game or two where he's not as bulletproof as you want him to be, but gosh, he does not let that get to his head, and that's so impressive. And I think that's one of the biggest storylines of the night was Karel Vejmelka stopping 29 of 30. That's the goalie we saw last night is the goalie that can steal games in the playoffs for you.
Is that something, I don't know if you're a Ted Lasso fan or not, but the memory of a goldfish, I mean, I got to imagine that's for everybody in sports, but especially a goaltender, correct?
I think so, but remember, goalies are also weird.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fact of life, is goalies are known as they're a little quirky. They're a little odd. And so whatever mechanism that Karel Vejmelka uses to get his mind right, it tends to work more often than not, especially over the course of a long season. Get this, with his win last night, he's tied with Andrei Vasilevsky, a future Hall of Famer, for the most wins this season in the NHL. He's won 37 games. So there really haven't been as many goaltenders, there's hardly any goaltenders that have been leaned upon as much as the Mammoth have leaned on Veggie. And I don't know if he's got the memory of a goldfish because he stayed in the Czech Republic to get his master's degree. He could have come out and played professionally in North America, but he stayed in Czechia, got his degree, and then came over to play in the NHL. So I think he's got a little bit more going upstairs than what a goldfish might have.
Ah, nice. See, that's the broadcaster insight right there. That's stuff you just don't get anywhere else. Hey, so when you see this team obviously punch their ticket to the playoffs, but you still want to maintain momentum, do you worry about any kind of regression a little bit now that you could say, all right, mission accomplished, let's coast this thing in? Or how important is it to maintain that momentum and that sense of urgency going into postseason play?
Yeah, it's critically important. And, there are some teams that have known they've been in the playoffs since the Olympics, basically, that they haven't had the same stress that the Mammoths have had. And so there's definitely a weight that I think is off this team's shoulders, finally clinching. But all these other teams, you look at like a team that the Mammoth are going to play tomorrow afternoon, Carolina, like they've known they've been in for a long time. They're still winning games, though. And those guys know that they have to be firing on all cylinders once they drop the puck in game one. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to dig yourself out of a hole. And so I haven't been in the room today. We're at the Utah Mammoth Ice Center. I haven't been in the room and talked to guys and got the feel of things yet. But you got to find a way to maintain that urgency, because the teams that have been there before, like Carolina, they've been to the conference finals the last few years. They know that even when you've clinched, even when you know what your playoff seed is, you still need to keep winning in order to in order to feel good about your chances. I equate it to kind of like a conference tournament in basketball. Maybe you're locked into a seed line, and there's really not a ton you can do in the conference tournament to change that seed, but you still want to go out and play your best. That way, when we do start the tournament, when we do start the big dance, everything is clicking like it should be.
So my son, he's going to turn 15 coming up next month. He's 14. He's all in on hockey right now. Absolutely loves it. And so he and I are trying. We're enjoying the game, and we're sitting back and we're watching a bunch of these games. And I brought this up to Bill Armstrong because he brought up something to me that I thought was really fascinating. And I want to get your thoughts as a broadcaster, especially a guy that has been at all different levels. So I want to go back to what game was it where the Mammoth had a pretty sizable lead. There was about 5.5 minutes left. There was the high stick, and it was the double minor because it drew blood. And so the Mammoth were able to pretty much just put the game away at that point because they had all that time to kill. And my boy was looking at me like, hey, do you think these guys ever bite their lip a little bit on one of those and just produce a little bit of blood? And I'm like, wait a minute, that's actually not a bad idea. I was like,
oh, absolutely.
He may be onto something.
Bite the lip.
Yeah.
Bite the lip, scratch the nose, anything to get a little blood. I mean, you're talking about a sport where, forget the biting the lip part. You're talking about a sport where guys will hit the opponent's stick into their own face to get a sticking penalty. So, even a step before biting the lip, they're like using their stick to launch the opponent's stick up into their face and get the call. These guys are absolute savages, and especially once we hit the playoffs, it's do or die. It is insane, and we're going to experience it here in a few weeks on the Wasatch Front. But absolutely, guys are biting their lips. And now that is important to note that you don't always need blood to get a double minor, because obviously due to injury they'll escalate a minor penalty to a double minor. But something that not every hockey fan knows is you don't need to see blood.
Okay.
If an official just detects an injury of any kind, that could be an escalation from a minor to a double minor. But absolutely, so listen to all the kids out there. Listen to your son. If you're playing stick hockey, if you're playing youth hockey, bite the lip, show a little blood, get the extra 2 minutes.
Because that game was pretty much out of reach at that point. But if that's a 1-goal game, that's the nail in the coffin right there. That's a huge penalty that late in the game. Hey, speaking of my son though, he wants a jersey, and we're look, we went to Utah State. He'll eventually go to Utah State because it's in his blood, and if he wants any help in tuition, then he's going to go there. But so we're a group that's got a little chip on their shoulder. So he's not a front runner. He doesn't want, and now no disrespect to Keller and Gunther and these guys like the superstars, but he wants to represent a guy that's just kind of a key player, but may not necessarily be the highlight guy, may not necessarily be the guy that everybody swarms to. So he wants a good player, but not necessarily the superstar. And I was thinking Sergei, I was thinking Yamamoto. What you got some ideas for us there?
Yeah, well, first of all, your son sounds a lot like me. I grew up in a Purdue family. I had a choice, but I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
I bleed black and gold. I was going to Purdue, and we lose at a lot of stuff. So I'm not a front runner either. I want everybody to suffer as much as I have to in my sports fandom. But if I had to pick a player that the Mammoth is a key cog, but maybe isn't one of those headliners, not just a guy that casual fans would know, about the 22 of Jack McBain.
Oh,
He
good
fights,
call. Yeah.
He crashes and bangs. He's been outstanding for Utah this year, and he signed for another 4 years after this one. He signed an extension this last offseason, so he's gonna be here for a little bit.
You know, the fun part about this is that Bill Armstrong came on the air with us starting last year, and when the Mammoth would rip off 5 in a row, he'd come on and say, hey, let's temper down expectations. We're still growing. And then they'd lose 5 in a row, and he'd be like, hey, we're fine. Everything's fine. This is who this team is. He never would say playoffs last year. And this year, he came right out of the gate and said playoffs. That's where our expectations are. He's been very strict about laying the groundwork and saying these are the steps that we're taking. But now you see this team in the playoffs. You see these young players that are signing extensions that are going to be around for a long time. Mike, the future, not only for the next month or two, looks bright, but for many, many years to come. This is really a special thing that people are watching now at the ground level and seeing this thing get better.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We were shooting some content down here in Sandy the other day, and this was all, off the record stuff. And Bill walks up and he's talking with Tyson Nash, who's a part of the Nashcast and was on the radio with us last night. And the first thing that Bill says, he's like, "Oh, and we've got so many young guys coming too." And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Bill, we're like a day away from clinching playoffs here. And the first thing you mentioned is our prospect pipeline. But there are so many guys that are still coming, right? Like there's T.J. Ginla, Cole Baudouin, Caleb Denoye, these high draft picks that are on the way, a lot of whom we could see with the team next year. So, this is not just a one-year thing. This is the swell of a tidal wave that's going to come and hit the Wasatch Front here. And so I think Bill Armstrong is very dedicated to sustained success. That's been one of his tenets. It's not just to throw all your chips in the middle for one chance, 1 year, but for sustained success. And I think that's illustrated with the contracts that have been handed out. Nick Schmaltz signed an 8-year deal to be here long-term, late into his career. He's having a career season. Mackenzie Weegar moves his no-trade clause to be here. Logan Cooley gets locked up long-term, an 8-year deal he signed this year. And there's more to come. And there's more to come, too. So Dylan Gunther locked up on maybe one of the best, maybe one of the most team-friendly deals in the NHL right now. I mean, the guy's at 39 goals. He's making a shade over $7 million. But that's a bargain. That's a bargain in today's NHL. So I think the length of the contracts and the volume of the contracts speaks for itself about how guys want to be here and how dedicated Bill is to establishing this core as a sustainable powerhouse in the Central Division.
Mike, we appreciate your time. Tell your guy Olchek to stop getting a little loose on the postgame show. He's getting a little crazy there on that TV broadcast. So you got to rein him in a little bit. But hey, always fun, man. We appreciate it.
Tough up, guys. Tough up.
Thanks, Mike. You're the best. That's Mike Folta right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm not going to go. I don't know. We probably shouldn't play that audio, but. I will say this: it's floating around the old Twitter machine, the old X machine. So I would highly suggest you go find that because, wow, if let's just say, Lloyd, you think we get out, we get a little loose sometimes. Holy smokes!
Those former hockey players,
those hockey guys, man, that was fun. I mean, hey, look, great line. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. But okay,
phrasing,
Nick, phrasing. All right. By the way, speaking of hockey and the Mammoth, Logan Cooley expected to join us coming up at 1:30. Really fired up for that conversation. Craig Bullerjack will join us at 1:05. Bob Casper from the Masters will join us coming up next. Come on, Lloyd. This is the old fish in the barrel show today.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much good stuff going on right now.
It's really hard to screw this one up.
That game last night was so
So were
awesome.
you there then?
No, I was not there.
Oh, okay.
But I watched it from home, watched the whole thing.
You sent me that video.
No, that Sly sent me that.
Oh, Sly did.
Got it on. Somebody got it on video of Sly. I'm assuming it was his wife, his lovely wife, but he sent me that. So I was like, because I remember we joked about him getting on the celly cam.
Yeah. Yep.
Sly got on the celly cam.
And, let's just say Sly was having a good time last night.
Sly did have a good time.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, the great Bob Casper will join us live from the Masters. We get all fired up. We get a little rough and tough with hockey. Then we're going to bring it down a little bit, talk a little golf with Bob Casper next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends. Nice. This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
1230, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The day after the Mammoth clinch a playoff spot. So we've got playoffs coming back to Utah. Jazz might be here, might be there next year. But right now, we get to see meaningful games in the month of April and cannot be more fired up for this. This is going to be an absolute blast to see the Mammoth in the playoffs coming up. Now, we don't know who, we don't know when, but guess what, folks? It's going to be a lot of fun to see a playoff-like atmosphere back here in Salt Lake City. All right. As we continue to break down the Masters, it's time for another Masters Update.
This 2026 Masters Update live from Augusta is brought to you by Copper Rock, where the pros play on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Off we go to Augusta. It is the great Bob Casper right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Bob, how are you?
I'm doing well, Scotty. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm not as good as Terrell Hatton. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yeah, Terrell Hatton. That's correct.
How about this? 7 under on his second round today through 17. He's just obliterating the course.
Yeah, he's played really, really well. The good thing that he's had going for him is he got out early today and was able to get on the golf course when it had more moisture in it and allowed him to get right on top from 2 over to 1 over to even and then extend out through the rest of the afternoon on the back 9, and that's what you have to do. You have to start building correctly right from the get-go, especially when you're at 2 over par for the tournament.
Yeah.
And then he's made some really good birdied some great holes, and only has 1 left to go.
So we always talk about this with Brian. We always have a joke like, who are we seeing on Thursday and Friday that we will not see on Saturday or Sunday, or that will be able to hang around? Do you anticipate Hatton might be in contention on this thing, or at least near the top of the leaderboard coming up on Sunday?
You know, what's interesting about him is he gets himself in position, and he likes to stick his nose in it with major championships. And eventually one of those is going to really help him out. He's put himself in contention quite a few times in majors. Will that happen this week? I don't know. But he sure there were a lot of people that didn't like some of his gestures yesterday. He and Bob McIntyre both gave some kind of obscene gestures at some of the greens and some of the holes here because they were frustrated. But you know, he's the kind of guy that his attitude is he's a competitor. He wants to win. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. And I think one of the things that could hurt him is that my dad always used to say that, you know, in the game of golf, especially in major championships, when you're coming down the stretch, when you have an opportunity to win, you want to stay more even keel and not get highs and lows. And he definitely does do the highs and lows. That's for sure.
How hard is that to do? I mean, when you're out there and it's, you know, you're living and dying on every shot and everything matters. I mean, I'm an emotional wreck just playing at Mick Riley every now and then. I can't imagine what it's like playing at a Masters.
Yeah, you know, it means a lot, and it means a lot to these guys. And so sometimes it's really, really difficult for them. But, you know, guys, you see guys like Ludwig Oberg or Scotty until this year. Scotty's shown a lot more emotion this year. Rory, for the most part. Justin Rose, for the most part. They keep their emotions in check, and they don't let a lot of it show, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And Yeah, it's really hard. You got to get yourself in a cocoon. You got to get yourself in the mental shape that no matter what happens, and things are going to happen good and things are going to happen bad in a round of golf, especially here. You deal with it and you move on.
So when I was talking to Brian yesterday, Scotty was 3 under through 3, and I think both of us were like, "Oh boy, here we go." Scotty's going to go on a tear, and then doesn't really do much the rest of that round. And today is +1 on round number 2. So after that blazing start, he's just kind of come back down to earth and playing even par right now.
Yeah, he's I think Brian was just talking about a stat where he's had 11 subpar rounds in a row at Augusta. Currently, he's 1 over par, but he's got 15, which is a par 5 that he can take advantage of. 16, where the ball kind of funnels down to the mid-left, that he could possibly make a birdie on, and then 17 and 18. So I think Scotty will get there. I think he's got maybe 2 birdies in him before he finishes his round today. He hit the ball in the water on 13 in Race Creek and didn't get it up and down, so he made bogey there. That caused him to be 1 over par for the day.
How about Rory just picking up right where he left off last year? It's like nothing ever really happened after the Masters last year. It's just like he picked up the next day, and it's Masters 2026, and he's right where he left off.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch him play. He started his round kind of shakily, he said. He admitted to that yesterday. And then, from about the 8th hole on, the final 11 holes, he was 5 under par. Well, he comes out and goes par birdie to get to 6. He's the first guy that's gotten to 6 under par on the board, and he's in control. He has a putt for birdie on the 4th hole too, from about 3 feet. But it's a downhill putt. He's going to have to hit a little bit soft and hopefully keep it on line. So. And he did. He made it. So now he's up to 7 under par on the 3rd hole, which is fun to watch. It's fun to watch him feeling like he's in control and that he can have a possibility to win again. Now, the interesting thing is only Jack, Faldo, and Tiger have won back-to-back in the Masters. He would be the 4th guy to have an opportunity to do that.
Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Have you been able to take a look at Bryson's 3D printer 5-iron yet?
I haven't, but that's all of his clubs are 3D printed, and it's kind of interesting because it takes about a full day and a half to make one club, one iron. We saw a 3D printer down at Cobra when we were there about a year and a half ago, and we saw it working on making irons. They offer 3D printed irons at Cobra, so it's really kind of interesting. It takes the it's not polymer. It takes the metallic dust, mixes it with polymer, and then it lays it down in layers, and then it's really kind of cool to see how it works. So.
Is this something that could be part of like guys actually creating their own clubs? Is that something that we could see coming down the pipeline?
Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. Yep, no doubt about it. I think Max Homa is playing with a set of those irons as well. He's a Cobra guy. So yeah, guys can go and can work, and they like a certain look of the club, and they like a certain weight distribution of the club, and a club that has a tendency to go certain direction. And yeah, there's a good chance that they could do something like that pretty easy.
Is that something that the PGA has to keep a close eye on, because you do have certain requirements that you have to have your clubs to hold, right? Certain standards?
Yes, that's correct.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right, just looking at some of the more notable guys, Sam Burns got off to a great start yesterday. He's sitting at 5 under. He's even through 7 today. He seems like he's going to be sticking around here at least through tomorrow.
Well, he will. He will. And like I've said to some of the other guys when I've spoke with them, as long as he keeps his ball striking up, his putting and his short game is phenomenal. And that's what's going to help him the most here as the week goes on. Sam Burns would be a great champion. He's a great friend of Scotty Scheffler's. This is his fifth or sixth time around in the Masters, and he played all of his practice rounds with Scotty, and so I think he's learning as he goes along about what Scotty has done to win a couple times, and this is going to be interesting to see how if he can hold on or how he plays the remainder of this day and also the next two.
How bad a shape is Colin Morikawa in? Is he really banged up?
Well, I was watching him hit balls yesterday on the practice range, and it looked like he was very, very tentative, very kind of controlling his movements because his back has been pretty bad. To have to withdraw from the Players Championship and another event that he was supposed to play before he came to Augusta, it was something that's tough. That means that he was not in good shape, but he's doing physio every day. He's getting massage. He's trying to do everything to get it better, and it's getting better, but it's still there, still hurting him.
What's the biggest wear and tear that the golf game takes on a body? Is it the back?
It's the back. And the rotation of the back. I mean, our back's not meant to rotate that much and rotate like these guys do. And when you're playing professional golf, you're talking about guys that are really being aggressive with their turns, with their speed, and the speed that they hit the golf balls. And in doing that, it takes a toll on the back.
All right, so who's maybe one or two guys that are hanging in there that we may not necessarily be talking about, but you think could be a force coming up on Sunday?
Well, Wyndham Clark won the U.S. Open a few years ago, beat Rory McIlroy at LA North Country Club in Los Angeles. He played a beautiful round today. He started at even par and finished shot 68, and he's at 4 under par right now. That's a guy that nobody's talking about right now, is Wyndham Clark. It'll be interesting to see what Patrick Reed does. He's 4 under par now, also through 5 holes. Started the day at 3 under par, so he's 1 under for the day. So he's a past champion, a former champion, and has played a lot of golf on this golf course because he went to Augusta State here in Augusta, Georgia. So, look at him.
He is Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio. You hear it every Saturday morning. Obviously, a busy show tomorrow, but kind of walk us through what's on the table for tomorrow's show.
Well, we got a couple of guys, the last 2 champions at Black Desert in the Utah Championship. We've got some sound from them. We were able to talk with them after their rounds in the first round. And then we'll have a couple of guys from the media center and of course, the caddy. So it should be a great one, and we'll kind of break it down and what we do and kind of what are the neat things that we have done over, the 25 years we've been here broadcasting, and kind of stuff that people wouldn't necessarily know we're going to be talking about tomorrow.
I love it. All right, so the way the course is right now, if I took what kind of a handicap would you need to have to go out on that course and shoot under 100?
Probably less than a 10.
Wow. That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And to shoot under 100.
Brian and I were talking about that at dinner the other night. Okay. I've had an opportunity to play this course now 4 times. Okay. I played from the members tees twice, and I played from the championship tees twice. And the best I could do, and this was 15 years ago, the best I could do from the championship tees was like 75.
Jeez.
The best I did from the members tees was even par.
Wow.
Now, if I had to play the tournament now as a almost 66-year-old from the championship tees, I don't think I could break 90.
Wow.
What about with this equipment, Bob? The equipment's changed.
It would be somewhere between 85 and 90, probably.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's a long golf course.
Yeah.
It's a long golf course.
And the one thing that, we were talking to Brian about, too, that I don't know if a lot of people really, truly understand is how, the amount of wear and tear on the body just walking that course. I live by Bountiful Ridge. You'll never see me walking that course. And I can't imagine that even holds a candle to what you have in Augusta in terms of up and down and hills and all over the place.
That's exactly right. You've got a lot of uphills, you got a lot of downhills, and once you get to that back nine, you're going downhill the whole way down to 12 and 13, and then you start working your way back uphill again. And there's a lot.
Wow,
there's a lot. So.
Well, Bob, we certainly appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy Saturday and Sunday, and look forward to catching up again here very soon.
Okay, Scotty. Thanks, bud.
Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio, brought to you in part by Mountain America Credit Union, Mountain Land Supply, Black Desert Resort, Hoops Vision, and Uinta Golf. All right. He and Brian, I like to give Brian a little grief because he went to a rival high school up in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, but he and Bob just kill it year in and year out. Can't thank them enough.
And they also hit the job lottery.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
you go there every year.
Yeah.
But yes, they killed with the coverage, all that they do there at all the majors. They do an amazing job.
Absolutely.
The fact that he's been there 30 times, over 30 times it's just, and Brian has gone now. This is his 25th time.
Oh, yeah. Brian's
geez,
right there with
they've been doing it for a long time.
Whew. That would not suck. And I was talking about the NCAA tournaments. There's a lot of stuff we do that you kind of get callous to a little bit. Going to Jazz games are awesome and they're fun, but, you go there and you cover a game and it's work, right? You do it over and over and over again. But even calling games for Utah State, after a while, you just get into a routine and you forget that it's really special and it's a really cool event and really an honor to be able to do that stuff.
And not everybody gets to do it.
And so I totally understand that. But sometimes if you're not careful, you can fall into that rut. NCAA tournaments, though, never feel that way. Never, ever, ever. And the same thing with, it sounds like Brian and Bob, when they go to Augusta, it's okay, this is cool.
It's like seeing it for the first time.
Yeah. I would love, love, love to be able to hang out at Augusta, especially with those two, because those guys, they know their way around that course. All right, coming up next, what you may have missed right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Then in the 1 o'clock hour, the great Craig Bullerjack will join us, voice of the Utah Jazz, final home game of the year for the Jazz. We'll chat with Buller at 1:05 right here on the Zone.
You're locked on to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, it's another edition of What You May Have Missed right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, brought to you by Paris RV. It's Toy Hauler Month at Paris RV with over 200 new and used toy haulers in stock across 20 brands. They're sure to have what you're looking for. See them all at any of their 4 locations at parisrv.com. Lloyd, we dropped the ball. We really screwed up here. I know we are, we don't have the big guy keeping us dialed in like we have.
I know what you're going to say.
But we dropped the ball on the major. I actually see it in the show rundown. We had it written down, major pain in the butt, and we didn't get to it.
I think we were running behind. We had a guest coming up, and yes, we did. We dropped the ball.
I would have taken Rory for sure.
Well, I would have taken Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, that's true.
Problem is,
I usually take Marikawa.
You really think you would have taken Rory first? Because knowing that he won it, it's really going to show up again?
No, I would have. I would have taken Scotty first.
Yeah,
and he's hanging in there. He'll make the cut. But.
Scotty will be just fine. It doesn't mean Rory's not going to run away with it, because he very well could. Because he's playing very well. Is he still 7 under? I think. 8 under. Rory is 8 under right now.
Rory's tearing it up. He's lapping the field.
67 yesterday, and yes, he very well could just run away with this thing. It's always a matter of when with him.
Yeah,
he had other majors, and it was the Masters just was his little crutch that he couldn't get. He couldn't get past it. And now that he's done that, he could rack up, because he's still one of the most powerful players on the PGA. He still has it. He still out bombs most people.
Yeah.
So he still has it.
Hey, by the way, so you heard Bob mention Robert McIntyre as he got disciplinary action. So, look, if you're playing golf and you realize that things aren't going your way, there's a lot of things you can blame. Like, I blame myself for being a garbage golfer. I'll blame my clubs for not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'll blame the golf ball. I'll blame a lot of things. Things I don't usually blame for my ineptness of playing golf is the golf course. Like, I don't really get after the course because it is what it is. Like, you know, it's supposed to be hard. Well, Robert McIntyre from Scotland, after the 13th green, or excuse me, the 15th green, where he had a quadruple bogey 9, was really upset, and so he walks away from the green and he flips it off. Now, again, you can be mad at your clubs, you can be mad at yourself, you can be mad at a lot of people. I wouldn't be flipping off the greens at Augusta. I mean, they are. You signed up for this. You know what you're getting.
You know, I'm actually going to disagree with you here.
Oh, really?
I'm going to disagree with you because, well, say somebody has the exact same putt and it breaks same line, whatever, and he hits his and he's like, okay, I've got the line, and maybe it breaks the other way, which it could happen. It could hit something that it could hit whatever the grain. I don't know. Like all of a sudden, maybe you're only off like a hair.
Yeah.
But maybe it breaks off the other way. So maybe it's like, okay, I had the line. I hit it exactly where I wanted it. And it did not do what his did.
Well, I think a quadruple.
And I think we've seen that.
I think a quadruple bogey goes a little bit further than just a missing the break on a putt.
But I'm just saying you can't blame the course just a little bit at times.
Now remember, this is a guy that may not be top of mind for a lot of people out there that are just fringe golf fans, but the dude performed well at the Players Championship, the Texas Open, so he came in with a little bit of momentum here.
Yeah.
He ain't making the cut after putting up an 80 yesterday.
Hey, maybe you flip off the groundskeepers because maybe they put the hole in a bad place.
There you go. Maybe
they do a really hard spot, a hard hole placement. And maybe as you're passing the groundskeepers, you give them the old one-finger salute.
So I'm not exactly sure what the disciplinary action is, but Masters organizers say that further issues, further penalties could come. I don't know what that would be. He did not speak to the media after that round. Look, okay, that's the other thing, too. You shoot an 80 and you got people who want to talk to you, own it. Just own it. Like, be a big boy. I know there's not a lot of people over there in Scotland that are going to talk to you after you shoot an 80, but you do that at Augusta, just own it and say, yeah, you know what? I played terribly. And did I flip off the green? Yes, I probably shouldn't have, but I did that. Just own it. It's okay. It's all right.
It happens.
Everybody has bad days at the office.
We all have bad days.
Augusta's going to make a lot of people look stupid. So just enjoy the fact that you were invited and you had an opportunity to play. That's all that matters. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, the great Craig Bullerjack will join us straight ahead right here on the Zone.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.